Hello and welcome to J.P. Murray's Association Hustle Podcast. President of the Murray Company, JP's mission is to arm today's associations with insight and strategy to thrive in a progressively complex and competitive business landscape. 21st century associations must move forward with a little bit of hustle and revenue development at their core. Here's JP.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. Today's podcast is about leadership. I don't think there are bad companies or bad associations, but I do believe that there is poor leadership, and that's why associations and organizations primarily don't perform. Some may argue, yeah, I get that, but we're in a pandemic. I agree. Yes, I understand that. Believe me, I understand that. But that makes strong leadership so important right now. And even if you're a casual follower or if you study business, there are so many examples of companies and associations that grow and flourish and expand when times are bad and industries are in decline, even in times like these. Heck, let's take a look at the association business. Some organizations are circling down the drain right now, and others are adjusting and rebounding and increasing industry influence. And leadership is a major factor regarding that trajectory. So what does it mean to lead an organization now? I've been studying this quite a bit recently, and I read some materials from about half a century ago from General Bruce Clark, West Point, World War II, Korea. He wrote the book on how to lead an army, frankly. And so much of that content resonated with me, I'd like to give you a few General Clark credits for these themes with my own twist. Because in some ways, I believe we are in a war. We're in a business war right now. First, don't ignore problems. They've been exposed during this battle. You know it in your own organization. This may be a little bit different than commanding an army, but I really believe a great deal about organizations addressing problems. It's essential to leadership. If you're unable to articulate the challenges and problems and address them as a team, you don't seem credible. Your team doesn't believe you because they know what's going on and you're ignoring it. The team knows an issue likely before you even do. And if you address problems or challenges regularly, you will have the pull as a leader that you don't ignore things. The other thing that I've learned, kind of in the same vein, is permissiveness doesn't work. When you address problems, you're going to be pulled to ignore them or not to look into those. Don't take the bait. You can tell how great a coach is because of the things that they don't allow. They're not permissive. They stay on the details. And that's why they're great coaches, and that's why great leaders don't ignore problems. They address them, and they actually look for challenges. Here's the second thing. Tell the company what you want. Tell your team what you expect. It is not their job to ask you. It's amazing to me how important clarity is. An important exercise I learned from a podcast and a blog called Manager Tools, absolutely critical to my leadership. It's a very simple task. Ask your staff member to list the 5 most important responsibilities of their job. You, as the leader or the manager, list the 5 most important things of their job. Compare and give feedback. My guess is there are some folks that are going to be totally aligned with you. There are others that kind of meander and you're not on the same page. This gives you the opportunity to address specifically what you expect and how. It's unbelievably powerful. The third thing is something so important. Training is critical. And I've got to be absolutely transparent. We're not very good at it. I think it's a challenge for smaller companies because there's so much to do. You're not training people. But let's talk about it because I believe it needs to be systemic. It's got to be absolutely in place for my company to get better. We have to educate and train the team to move and fire, to adapt. We've got to do it systemically. We've got to do it routinely, and it has to be authentic. It has to be real. Train the team in multiple disciplines. Ask the sales team to review a contract. Ask the database team to review a sales proposal. Hell, have the CFO deliver a sales pitch. I guarantee you everybody will learn from that. And it isn't to be redundant or bureaucratic or to catch people in an uncomfortable situation. But it is for this reason. When someone goes down or a colleague needs some time or they have to take a vacation or an extended leave or they go to another opportunity, you have some redundancies in place and you have people that can step into the gap, and that's what we're talking about. Problems need to be addressed. Expectations are made. Team, your army, if you will, feels well trained and equipped, and that is likely a motivated and tight organization. Here is what General Bruce Clark says about professionalism. And once again, I'll give you my view, the association interpretation. Raise the army. Get your team in place and train them. Organize them. Put the best people in charge of initiatives, including new efforts. Eliminate parts of your organization that are no longer needed. Equip them. Does your database stink? Is your CRM a mess? Fix it. Train them. Senior leaders, do you know how to read a balance sheet? Does the membership team have a specific rebuttal for objections that they hear over and over again? Lead and command the team. Set the expectations and keep those expectations. Move the army. Take your value proposition and change it. Change how you deliver it. Change how you sell it. Move and attack. Maintain the army. Keep your members retained. Don't just bill them. Have a process to maintain members and staff. Supply the army. Provide that association with resources. Pay your staff. Encourage them. Add relevant programs to the value proposition so members feel like they're supplied with good value. Employ them and deploy them. Take unbelievable action and they will stay sharp. Communicate. 3 days a week, we have all staff calls describing what is happening in the space, are we winning or losing, and addressing problems. So, my friends, I went a little longer than usual, but I think it's an unbelievable time for leadership, and it's a big deal. Why? Because your business is changing forever. Whether we like it or not, it's changed forever, and now is the time for leadership. I want to thank you for staying on to this podcast and listening all the way through, so I've got a gift for you. If you like this content, email me, jp@murraycompany.com, and I will send you a complimentary copy of my first book, Association Hustle. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of JP Murray's Association Hustle podcast. We'd love to connect with you. Check out our blogs at murraycompany.com and subscribe to our weekly newsletter. You can also connect with JP on LinkedIn and Twitter at JP Murray, as well as the Murray Company's Instagram and Facebook page. To purchase a copy of JP's book, Association Hustle, Top Strategies for Association Growth, go to jpmurray.com.